We're looking at percent change. And percent change is going to show you by what percent a number changes. Let's go ahead and read the definition. It says percents can be used to describe how an amount changes. Percent change can be found by using the amount of change divided by the original amount. The change may be an increase or a decrease. The percent increase describes how much a quantity increases in comparison to the original amount. So this is the kind of problem that you're going to see. It says the price of a pair of shoes increases from $52 to $64. What is the percent increase to the nearest percent? So this is really saying that the shoes are getting marked up, right? They go from $52 to $64. We're trying to figure out how much that markup was, right? We're trying to figure out by what percent those numbers changed. So we're going to find the amount of change over the original amount. I was taught to do new minus old over old, but it also works if you do old minus new. The only difference is that there's percent increase and percent decrease, which we're about to do. And when you get decrease, you get a negative number, which just shows you that it's decreasing. If you always take the biggest number and subtract the smallest number, you'll get the same thing, because we don't even use that negative. The negative just tells you to decrease. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. But let's find the percent change. So the new number, it went from 52 to 64. So that would be 64 minus 52, and the old on the bottom, so 52. Now if we do our math here, 64 minus 52, that would be, let's do it over here to the side just to show you that we can. All right, so it'd be 12 over 52. Now, our job is to change this to a percent. All right, so I think the easiest thing to do is to simplify it down first. So I know 2 goes into both these numbers. So I'm going to do 12 divided by 2, which is 6, and 52 divided by 2, which is 26. All right, I see that I can keep simplifying. So I'm going to do that. It's going to give me 3 over 13. Now I can't simplify it anymore. And there's 2 things we could do here. I could either set up a proportion to make it equal 100 on the bottom, because percents always have 100 on the bottom. But I'm not going to do that because I know that 13 doesn't go into 100 evenly. So to save ourselves some trouble, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to divide it out the way it is. So I'm going to do 3 divided by 13. And do some math here. I know 13 can't go into 3, so I'm going to add a 0 in my decimal. 13 goes into 30 2 times, which would be 26. Subtract and bring down a 0. 13 would go into 40 3 times, which would be 39. And then 13 would go into 10 0 times. Now I'm going to stop at 3 decimal places, the thousandths place, because I know that I'm going to take my decimal and move it to the right 2 times to get a percent. So here, 3 divided by 13 gave us 0.23, which when I change to a percent would be 23%. So our percent increase here is 23%. Now we're going to look at percent decrease. It says, when the change in the amount decreases, you can use a similar approach to find the percent decrease. Percent decrease describes how much a quantity decreases in comparison to the original amount. So this problem says the number of students in a chess club decreased from 18 to 12. What is the percent decrease? Round to the nearest percent. So again, I like to use new minus old over old. So it decreased from 18 to 12. So it went from 18 to 12. That means 12 is the new. So it'd be 12 minus 18 over 18. Now, this is where people get mixed up a little bit, because this is 12 minus 18, which would give you negative 6, and then 18 still on the bottom. Now, if you switched it around and did the biggest number minus the smallest, that would be 18 minus 12, which gives you 6. So you could do that and not worry about the negative. The negative here is just telling you that it's decreasing, but you're not going to use it in your answer or anything like that. So if you like to do just the bigger number minus the smaller number over the old, that's fine. That works. All right, so here I've got negative 6 over 18. I'm going to go ahead and simplify that down. I know that 6 goes into both of these numbers. So that would give me negative 1 over 3. Again, the negative is just showing that it decreases, so we're not actually going to use it in our answer. So we've got 1/3. You would divide that to get your decimal or set it up over 100. Since I know that 3 doesn't go into 100, I'm just going to divide it. So I've got 1 divided by 3. Remember that the top number always goes on the inside of the division symbol. All right, 3 cannot go into 1, so I'm going to add a 0 and a decimal. I'm going to extend that out a little bit. All right, add a 0 here. 3 goes into 10 3 times, which is 9. Subtract, I get a 1, bring down another 0. 3 goes into 10 3 times again, which is 9. Gonna do it one more time. 3 goes into 10 3 times again. All right, so the reason I went to 3 decimal places is because it says to round to the nearest percent. I know that I'm going to have to move my decimal to the right 2 times, so I have to have that third spot to see if my percent's going to round up or stay the same. All right, so my decimal here is 0.333, and it just keeps on going. I'm going to move my decimal to the right 2 times, and that gives me 33%. Again, this is a decrease, so it's technically a negative, but since we already know it's a decrease, we're saying that it decreased 33%. And that's how you find percent change.